Hey BoLS fans, AdamHarry back again with another Retro Corner review. Today I have part 2 of the White Dwarf presents Warhammer 40k Compendium. This is during the Rogue Trader era compilation of all the White Dwarf articles for the game at the time. So last time we left off was on this page where we just got done talking about Terminators and the Imperial Guard, Terminators, Ogrins, and Ogrins, and weapons and equipment for the new Terminators that just come out. So this time we're going to go through the IG section here, a little bit more info on that, more cool artwork, commissars. They had been introduced in White Dwarf, and then again commissars, chaplains, all that fun stuff. Check out the other review if you want to read or learn more about that. But where this gets cool is they start introducing new stuff like the chapter approved Dreadnoughts. So that goes over the different profiles for the different types of Dreadnoughts, equipment for Dreadnoughts, you know, special attacks, power claws, Dreadnought shooting, how they were different from regular stuff, how the weapons, how they got damaged. So this reminds me a little bit of like BattleTech in some ways, which was their early competition really. So just the way stuff could go wrong, but it's mostly charts and stuff. D6 charts, so yeah, kind of neat. Basic profile here for Contemptor class Dreadnought. We know about Contemptors. Duradio class attack support Dreadnoughts, so I don't know what those are, but this is Chuck and Eddie. Yeah, kind of neat. So weapon skill 6, BS 6, strength 8, tough 8, damage 11, initiative 5 or 6, attacks 3, save 4 to 6, I guess, and then hit points 4 and E6. So there you go. But yeah, it goes through different styles of Dreadnoughts. The Eldar Dreadnoughts, this old kit, are out of print. Yeah, Wraith Lords there. So yeah, that's basically what the Eldar Dreadnoughts look like. The Proto Wraith Lords, and then Warwalkers as well. So anyway, they have different color schemes for them, as you can see here. The Orc ones right here, Imperial Dreadnoughts, and they were meant to be piloted by a guardsman or a marine. They're different than how they were, where they actually have like a pilot, and now they're a marine is entombed in a sarcophagus that, you know, is still a war machine. So anyway, Eldar ones up here, Slaanesh Dreadnoughts, Imperial, Castellan class. Robot classes and literally. So those are actually different robots that are also coming up soon. So I'll get to that too. But yeah, there you go. Actually, it's interesting because they actually show you how to build them pictures. This is like the proto how to build stuff too. Same deal with the orc stuff. So you almost needed the book for the instructions on how to build the Dreadnoughts, which is kind of funny. Eldar Warwalkers. This is what the original Warwalkers look like, where they just basically had a dude riding in a chassis and guns on the side. So the shield, that's where that shield comes from. The new model has an actual physical shield. The old one had just an energy field. So chapter approved stuff here. Ghost Warriors, cool stuff there. More chapter approved. Talks about vehicle movement and can you pivot your rhinos or your land raiders. How movement actually worked. So pretty cool there. All the weapon points, hit locations, different Rhino armored assault vehicle, APCs basically, different paint schemes, Crimson Fists, actually like blue and orange. It's not actually red, so it's kind of funny. They did have camo. You kind of noticed that back in the day of Rogue Trader era stuff, they were big on having camo, and now they don't, which is kind of a shame, but makes sense. You don't want to tick off that machine spirit, right? White Scars, and a couple of things too. The IG actually had rhinos too, so IG rhinos were a thing. Marines weren't just the only ones. They hadn't invented the Chimera transports at this point. So, but yeah, Flesh Eaters, Spearhead one. So kind of cool, different paint jobs for rhinos. More fun stuff there. Extra equipment, shield penetration. That stuff. Land Raider chapter approved, and this was the chapter for you, obviously, for all the rules for the Land Raiders. This is interesting because if you see here, it talks about the fire arcs for the weapons, and and they actually had a 6-inch dead zone in the front and rear, which is kind of interesting. So that 90-degree fire arc for hull-mounted weapons. So it was a very clear diagram of like, this is the fire arc, this is the dead zone. Yeah, so Predator Imperial Assault Tank for Warhammer. Good old Predators on the Rhino chassis, and they showed you the exact 90-degree split, and also how the right, fire arcs for the weapons and the dead zone neck there. 40K kickstart. So kickstart, aka motorcycles, bikes, stuff like that. Squat bikers, man, I wish we still had those guys. Crazy biker dwarves. So more chapter approved, vital hits and all that fun stuff. Extra rules, talks about all the different weapons, tarantula, mole motor, land speeder, different hardware, if you will, rapier, lasers, and stuff like that. Forge World releasing those again. Thud guns, man, those are brutal. This is the early land speeders, what they look like. If you notice, there's no chassis in the front. It's all, the engine's in the back, gun on top, and then you have a gunner who also is just popping caps. Thud gun template, that was thud gun template. That thing is pretty brutal. So slow the game down. But anyway, craters, and they go through that, like optional rules there for you. Imperial robots. Again, the Imperial Knights. This is the proto rules for robots. I mean, the Knight is the latest incarnation, but having giant killy vehicles, Dreadnoughts, Walker style stuff was in the game early on. Kind of disappeared, and it's slowly making a comeback. So I'm looking forward to the day when we can do a robot army that is not called Necrons, but you know what I'm talking about, actual robots. So yeah, construction robots. Not talking Adeptus Mechanicus. Anyway, getting off topic. So moving on, robot programs. The way they had programs was actually kind of weird and neat. You actually, it's basically the default actions. So fire a weapon, move to target. This is a task. Is a yes/no question. Jump through the robot's program. So it's kind of neat. It has like a real programming. All this, flow chart. Little complicated, little bookkeepy, but I mean, it's kind of cool. Like actually having a plan ahead. I see this in games like Star Wars Armada now. It's like planning ahead is a thing. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. This is a program sheet. Photocopy both sides of this page and glue the copies back to back on a piece of card. Make sure both sides are the same way up. Then cut out the counters. So there you go. Photocopy that. Make counters, make programs. It was that easy in the 80s, kids, making programs. Robots in games, robot phase. Basically, they added the new robot phase. Robot. So make sure they don't hit their kill counters, otherwise they stop working. Just ask that brand again. Yeah, special damage tables for them. Robots of the Imperium, the Colossus, the Crusader, Cataphract, Conqueror, Castellan. So yeah, those were a thing. And then this gets into the heavy metal picture show, making the most of your Marines. So painting them up. Got some old school guys from the heavy metal crew. Heavy metal paint jobs. Good stuff. So again, Dark Angels were black back in the day, which is neat. This is what the plastics look like originally. And you can totally tell that this guy's been converted with the crazy chopper blade. Standard bearer, just the heavy metal team's having a good old time painting models up and stuff. So Imperial Land Raiders, that's just cool, different paint jobs. Cool stuff there. Range of Rhinos. And again, they just go over the different that's kind of neat, having all the different poses and stuff on the Rhinos. So, but yeah, just going over the different paint schemes for Rhinos. Just kind of an art gallery. I remember this Rhino kit, and I remember the back part of it being really weird, where it didn't quite sit flush, and I was never sure where they went together, but you can kind of tell up here, but whatever. It's still a really good kit, and Forge World has the retro kits, which is kind of funny now. They're a little bit smaller than the current Rhinos, but yeah, I miss them a little bit. John Blanche talks about conversion corner. So yeah, this is kind of interesting. So plastic card, you can tell, building the turret and stuff for the Predator turret, so that's interesting. Conversions. What is that? That is a speed stick deodorant thing that they're taking. That's the starting point. They took some weapons off, and this is the old school hover thing. And they actually had conversion articles in White Dwarf, how to not buy our models but build your own. So this is a great example of a conversion. It's not a proxy, it's an actual conversion. So it's so simple, but it works. It's pretty cool. And that's what the end product looked like. There's a lot more effort in this conversion than some of the proxies you've seen. So it's cool. I like it a lot. It was neat. I totally would have played against that, and then hope that they released a kit one day and I'd have to buy one and do it for real. So, more old school conversions. Yeah, just basically scratch building models that they didn't have models for, and then Chapter House gets sued. So we all know how that turned out. Moving on, the old Dreadnoughts, Heavy Metal team, all that fun stuff. So yeah, Heavy Metal. Thanks guys, thanks for the memories. This is where we start getting into the codex, the different codex stuff part of the game. So we've got the Marines codex, IG codex, squats, and Eldar, which I actually think we're at a good stopping point right now. Come back next week and we will go over in more detail the different army lists, squat army lists. Basically the 2 that are still around, and then the 2 that I wish were still around, Harlequins as well. So anyway, that's AdamHarry for BoLS. This has been another Retro Corner review. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and throw us a like, throw a subscribe, comment, share it with your friends, let them know. Retro Corner, we have it covered. So again, AdamHarry from BoLS signing off. Have a good one.